We're back at it on Ruth. As I mentioned, um, different scholars handle this section of Ruth chapter 2, a little bit did differently. Um, they have really, I think, two to three scenes. One, Boaz um, approaches Ruth, or that whole scene in verses 1 to 7. They have this longer scene. I chopped that longer scene up. So they'll see verses 8 all the way down to the whole rest of the meat eating. I chopped that up for sizable, but how I've named this, I've named a proper response. And the big reason is because Ruth here displays what's the proper response on how you handle of someone who's been kind. So the big idea here, the main theme here, Boaz is kind to Ruth, and Ruth shows gratitude to Boaz. Now, this is their first encounter. She knows nothing of the relationship between Boaz and Naomi. So I will read from the English Standard Version, uh, Ruth chapter 2, verses 8 through 13. Then Boaz said to Ruth, "Now listen, my daughter, do not go to lean in another field, or leave this one, but keep close to my young women." So he's saying, stay here and I will take care of you. Let your eyes be on the field that they are reaping, and go after them. Have I not charged the young men not to touch you? So there's this instance here where he says, I have charged my young men not to touch you. So that could mean a couple things: harm, or it could be sexually. And when you're thirsty, go to the vessels and drink what the young men have drawn. Then she fell on her face, bowing to the ground, and said to him, "Why have I found favor in your eyes, that you should take notice of me, since I am a foreigner?" So she identifies the truth here. The truth is, he should not have shown it's unnatural. Maybe unnatural is not the right word, but it wasn't common to show kindness to foreigners, especially during this time of judges. But Boaz answered her, "All that you have done," and he identifies why. But Boaz answered her, "All that you have done for your mother-in-law since the death of her husband has been fully told to me, and how you left your father and your mother and your native land and came to a people that you did not know. The Lord repay you for what you have done, and the full reward given to you by the Lord, the God of Israel, under whose wings you have come to take refuge." This is significant. He identifies her faith. Then she said, "I have found favor in your eyes. My Lord, you have comforted me and spoken kindly to your servant, though I am not one of your servants." A very simple outline here. Um, very simple outline that's going on here is first in verses 8 and 9, you see Boaz shows kindness to Ruth. In verse 10, Ruth's response and her gratitude. Boaz gives reasons for his kindness in verses 11 and 12, and Ruth's gratitude again. So the focus is on Ruth's gratitude. All these really highlight in this story, and it's part of a longer one, but I wanted to chop it up. The kindness or the unsuspected kindness, I think is the proper word. The Boaz it shows. And it's who he is. It's who he is. God is me meeting our need is not just theoretical or hypothetical, but it is realistic and practical. This is what we see in this section of Ruth chapter 2, verses 8 through 13. There is an exchange of kindness. There is an exchange of kindness and gratitude between Ruth and Boaz. First, Boaz shows kindness to Ruth by allowing her to glean the fields, verses 8 and 9. He doesn't have to allow her. That's the point. He doesn't have to allow her to glean from his field. But he has compassion on her because of her desperate situation. Ruth has the most natural response we all have to someone who demonstrates kindness and compassion to us. She shows gratitude in verse 10. Bowing was an act of gratitude. Genesis chapter 42, verse 6, 1 Samuel 25:41, 1 Chronicles 21 and 21. Although it is often reserved for deities, it's used of people as well. She follows it up with words of gratitude. Obviously, he gave far more than she ever imagined. Next, Boaz tells Ruth why he's been kind to her. His reason is both natural and supernatural. Boaz tells Ruth the reason he is showing kindness because of her kindness to Naomi. First, his kindness is because of the kindness she has shown. So he's showing this kindness because he's reciprocating the overwhelming kindness that she's shown to Naomi. Second, although Boaz is the agent by which Ruth is received, the source of the kindness is God himself. God uses people. God uses people to be a blessing. God uses people as agents. He works through them. So the blessing that you and I will receive. Because of her faith and her trust. So on the road, she says, your God will be my God. Your people will be my people. That's an act of faith. Then as a deeper level of gratitude, showing appreciation for Boaz, being the agent of kindness to him. Although the favor she receives originates from God, she is thankful to Boaz. That's so important. That's so important that we never forget that although the kindness and the blessing is actually from God, God uses people. True gratitude is thankful both for the source and for the agent. True kindness, true biblical kindness is thankful both to God as well as the agent that God chose to use. As we go out throughout this day and throughout this week, I think that'd be important to remember. Remember that any kindness that originates from God is through people. And we must thank them as well. Have a wonderful day.